Hey, how's everybody doing? Mark here. So I'm gonna do a basic, an RC or radio control, kind of like a basics or a starting video. I'm gonna cover about 7 or 8 different topics. I'll try to, make this about 8 or 10 minutes, maybe no longer. And I'll try to make a timeline or so that if you're interested in one specific topic, you can go to it. But we'll just start off with basically RC basics. And you can see my table here. So let's start with, within the RC hobby, you can go on Nitro. Nitro means it's the fuel for the engines, versus you can go electric. What you're looking at and what we're going to talk today is going to be Nitro. And so let's start with the fuel. The Nitro fuel this is an example of it. It's a little bit different for cars. This is racing fuel, so it's a little bit different for planes. But this is a race blend. It's got 20% nitro. Typically, it's about, from 15 to 30%. And, typically it's got 8 or 10% castor oil. This has 12%. So the oil is in the fuel to lubricate the engine. So this is about the nitro. Doesn't really matter what you use. Apparently the Traxxas stuff may not be that good, or at least that was, but anyway, that's the fuel. And then a little bit about the engines. So this particular engine is a small block. It's a SH18. It's basically like a 2-stroke engine. It's got a little carb. It's got something that looks like a spark plug, which is actually a glow plug. So there's different types of engines, like for bigger cars or planes, especially for planes, you can get 4-stroke engines. But for the car or buggies, it's mostly just nitro engines, which are the 2-stroke type. And you can have, the smaller ones, like, 15 sizes or 18 or 21. 21 is becoming like a big block, 21 and 28 and bigger. It's like 0.28. It's like, I think it's 0.28 cubic inches, I believe. So you can do the math. And about the glow plugs, it needs a glow plug igniter. So it needs one of these things where you actually do like this, and it heats up and glows the glow plugs. So then when you start the engine, usually it's a pull start. Some of them have different drill attachments where you can do a drive and you can start it that way. But a lot of them do have a little pull start on them. So different type of glow plugs. You can have normal glow plugs. You can have, these are cold. You can have hot. You can have normal length. You can have what's called a turbo plug, which has a slightly different geometry. And you can have the long reach plugs. And if I'm not mistaken, the SH engines works, especially the bigger blocks like 21s and 28s, they work well with the long reach plugs, such as this from OS, it's LC4 medium. So this is a long reach, but it's medium, so it's not hot or cold, and it's for cars. So these work well in most SH engines. I talked about the glow igniter. Also, it's always good to have backups. You can see I have a few of each thing. Staying still on the engine, especially when an engine is new, but not only when it's new, you can use such thing as an engine heater, and this goes over the head, and you connect it to a LiPo battery, and it heats up the head, which makes it much easier to start the engine. You can always use one of these guys as well, which is in this case is a Ryobi LiPo lithium powered, heater. So you could heat the engine that way, but this is specifically and very convenient for. But it's actually, it's adjustable as well, as you can see, but I think it works much better on the bigger engines, This one's a bit small. You don't really need that, but especially with a brand new engine that has a lot of compression. And let me see, what else can we talk about? Let's say transmitters. This is a transmitter, and this would be a receiver. And what happens is then you have different servos which are connected to your receiver and which move mechanically different things for your car. It could be your steering, your throttle, or and that's usually the main things on cars. The steering, there's brakes as well, and throttle. So there's various different types of receivers. There's various types of transmitters. This is an older style, and this is a newer style. Obviously, you can see I think this is 2.4 gigahertz, 4-channel radio. This is a slightly older one. This is an AM 27 megahertz, so totally different, but still works. When it comes to LiPo batteries, these can run something like this. For example, in this case, I have airplanes as well that use these. That's why I have so many of them. This is a fairly common voltage and size of LiPo battery. This type of battery would be sometimes called a battery pack, instead of what typically comes stock with these vehicles, which are a plastic enclosure where you put 4 AA batteries in it. This is a battery pack, which is a lot more convenient. You can have a backup all ready to go as well, charged, and you can just swap them out. So these are battery packs, very useful for the hobby. And then with the batteries, obviously you need a decent charger. So this is just a normal, run-of-the-mill chargers. It's got different types of things you can select. It can be like the NiCad or nickel cadmium, or I think these are slightly different. These are not NiCad. These are another type. And then there's LiPos, and there's different voltages. There's different charging rates that you can select. So there's a lot that you can learn about batteries. This is the actual car itself. If you can see, this is the engine, the carb is here, an air filter, the glow plug goes here. This is a pull start. There's a 2-speed, this is a 2-speed transmission here, so it's a 2-speed. Obviously, oops. This is the muffler. There's a pressurized hose that goes from the muffler back into the gas tank. This is a priming action, whatever you call it. Priming, can't think of the word. Battery pack, receivers. This is one of the servos here. Independent suspension, 4-way independent suspension. Not much to see on the back side. Okay, so that about covers it for this kind of basic overview. Don't think I've forgotten anything. Maybe I'll show one more quick thing. This is a different type of controller. This would be more for airplanes. So that would be for our next video, but a lot of similarities in the hobby. A lot of things you learn for one you can apply for the other. So it's a really cool hobby, and I thought I'd introduce part of it. Thank you.